What can we say about students who depart from the model of the normal student? In this topic, we're interested in students who depart in a way that is considered positive, the gifted child. What we are really interested in here is the role played by the idea of the naturally gifted child in society. You will recall from Module 1 that the early moderns both rejected the idea that the social order was naturally given and yet continued to appeal to nature, to biology when it came to accounting for social inequalities. In actual fact, when it comes to the child who excels at a particular activity, it is very, very difficult to disentangle the role of biology, of intensive preparation, or of a stimulating environment. In the 1920s, a group of US psychologists, Hollingworth, Terman, and Goddard, claimed that they had identified, using IQ tests, a distinct superior species of child. They were heavily influenced by the ideas of social Darwinism and of eugenics. Social Darwinists believe that the dominant classes and the dominant cultures in society owe their dominance to a natural, biological, genetic superiority. They are a better class of human being. The eugenics movement basically picked up the practice of selective breeding as it applied to cattle and sheep and sought to apply this to the task of improving the genetic stocks of the human race. These gifted children, who were almost exclusively middle class and white, were said to be better than average when it came to not only academic performance, but artistic ability, emotional stability, leadership, discipline, and ambition. This was taken as indicative of a genetically superior class of child. They supported their arguments by a range of studies. They did studies into these children's family background. They looked at the homes they grew up in. They looked at the way they dressed, their manners. They looked at their parents and their parents' occupation. And they argued that because their parents were invariably professional, that this indicated that there was something hereditary about the gifts these children had. They also did longitudinal studies, tracking these children over time as they moved through schooling, into university and beyond. And they documented the way that these children were overwhelmingly overrepresented among the ranks of college professors, business leaders, community leaders, politicians, and professionals. Even the rare failures among these children were considered to be exemplary failures. So, for example, a few of them who became criminals were considered to be an exceptional class of criminal. And when they got caught, they were considered to be model prisoners. There was no consideration that the IQ tests of the time were culturally biased, or that the stimulating home environments and greater learning opportunities that came with being born into a socially advantaged family could impact upon their performances positively. Rather, these social advantages were considered to be the legitimate fruits of naturally superior abilities and endeavour. Throughout the 1930s, the gifted children's advocates pushed hard for funding to be made available so that these children would not be held back by having to participate in normal schooling. However, this was the period when mass compulsory high schooling was getting underway and there were few funds available. In addition, it was very hard for these advocates to present to public opinion the image of these children as being somehow a disadvantaged group, deserving of special attention. In 1957, however, the Soviet Union launched the Sputnik satellite, and this sent a wave of alarm through the US. There was a fear that they were losing the space race, and accordingly, they could very well lose the arms race. As a consequence, large amounts of funding suddenly became available for identifying and training children who were considered to be naturally gifted and talented. What about the gifted child today? What might be some of the differences? Well, for starters, the links between giftedness, class, and race have been abandoned. Partly this is an accomplishment of the civil rights movement with its rhetoric of inclusivity. But also there has been a recognition nowadays that IQ tests are culturally biased. It is also recognised that gifts are domain-specific. That if a child excels in one activity, mathematics or music, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to excel across the board. Many of the activities that children excel at have also been linked up to the kind of activities that their home culture prizes and values. Well, the old dream of eugenics lives on in the form of a reprogenics, the idea of the designer baby, one who has been genetically manipulated in order to produce a far more intelligent and talented child who then has greater opportunities in life. The idea of the gifted and talented child has also been enlisted to support the view that social advantages accrue legitimately to those who possess a greater native endowment of talent, including a propensity for hard work.